Thank y'all. All right, so when I ask you what time it is, I don't care what you're a fan of, okay? You gotta say bear time, okay? We got that? We okay with that? Let's see if y'all can handle this. All right, kids can do it. Let's see if a lot of grown-ups can do it. All right, what time is it? Bear time. No, it ain't loud enough. Let's do it again. What time is it? Bear time. Okay, good deal. I appreciate that. I do. Well, thank you for having me. I think this is the 4th time I've been able to speak to you. I appreciate you asking me back. I always ask Bryant when he wants me to come back, I'm like, gosh, they've heard me talk, they're gonna get bored. You know, I'm pretty dull. I probably will repeat a lot of the things I said before, but first of all, thanks for that wonderful meal, Methodist Home. Them pork chops were slamming pretty good. So we thank you for having us. Appreciate the Macon Touchdown Club having me. So I said, what do you want me to talk about? And he said, well, just tell us where you are, what's going on. And I always kind of, at the end, ask me some questions. I'm not a great speaker. I'm going to talk at you a little bit, tell you kind of what we're up to, what we're about, and then maybe answer some questions for you at the end. So going into year 4, and it's been an interesting 3.5 years. We came in, started, you know, trying to fix a program, trying to get a program to become a championship program. And we weathered a pandemic right out of the gates. We've been one play away the last 2 years from being a playoff team, literally one play away from a conference championship and being a playoff team. Now we're sitting here 2-1 this fall. Since we've been at Mercer in FCS football, playing our level of football, we're 20-10. So we're proud of that record. That's not bad. That's a good start, and that's headed where we want to be. In the Southern Conference, they've never had a winning record in the conference till our staff got there. We're 16-8 in those 3 years and getting ready to head into conference play now. Like I said, we're 2-1 this season. We played North Alabama the first game. It was 102 degrees in Montgomery that day, and we were playing on turf. That thing on the field said 125. Hottest I've ever been in a football game in my life. Our kids did a good job, and I think we'll find as the season goes on, that was a quality win. That's a team with a new coach who hadn't had success. Well, the next week they turn out and beat a team in our league up at UTC at Chattanooga. So I think the further we go, I think we're going to see that was a pretty good quality win. Our defense played great that game. Gave up 7 points. We ended up winning 17-7. It was an outstanding win for our program. We went to Ole Miss, got kicked in the gut a little bit. Old Lane, he threw it around, kept throwing it around on us. We got to defend it a little better, and we got to score some points. But we had a rough day there. But bounced back last week against Morehead State. They came to town. We ended up winning 48-22. It was interesting for a while. I've never seen 3 targeting penalties in a single game. So maybe I hope we're just physical. But we got to clean up our tackling a little bit. But we separated there in the 4th quarter, ended up having a big win. So that's kind of where we are right now. If you look at our league, it's kind of crazy. You know, I think over the last 5 years, there's been 5 different conference champions. There's a lot of parity in the Southern Conference. It's tough to win week in and week out. We're getting ready to go into conference play. We are open this week. And we go to play Furman University the following week, who's ranked, I think, 6th in the country right now. We are ranked 20th in the country, so we are in the top 20 and excited to really get this season going. As I go through this, you know, I want to talk about some keys to success, and I think people are what make it work. You know, we have a great university, a great academic institution, beautiful facilities, Macon's a great city, so many positives, but I really think people are what make it go. So I want to recognize, you know, some people. President Bill Underwood, who wants to win in sports, wants to win in football. You got to have that when you're a football coach. It's no different than a high school coach needing a great principal and a great superintendent. So we have a great president who wants to win in football. I appreciate all he does for us. Our athletic director, Jim Cole, another guy that gives us what we need to be successful, wants to win in athletics, wants to win in football. So I appreciate those folks. Covering my coaching staff, first of all, I got Benny Houston here with me tonight, there in the orange. He's my football operations guy, which means he keeps me straight, he keeps us on time, make sure we got a hotel to stay in, make sure we start practice when we need to and all our stuff, so I appreciate all the hard work he does. On my coaching staff, we've not had a single coach leave in the last 2 years. So that really means a lot to me that people want to be with us. Out of my coaches I'm going to talk about, I had 4 coaches having opportunities to go do other things. 2 got an opportunity at FBS schools to be coordinators. 1 got an opportunity to be a Division II head coach. Another guy got an opportunity to be an FCS coordinator. They've all stayed, and that means a lot to me. It means we have a great culture, okay? So let me kind of talk about those guys. Joel Taylor, my defensive coordinator, coaches our linebackers. Joel's been with me since he was with me at Lenore Ryan. He came with me when I got the job here, and he's done an outstanding job. If you watched our defense play, man, they play hard, they play physical, they play sound. And and Joel's a great leader. I'm an offensive guy. It's really critical that I have a great leader on defense, and he is that. David Cole's our associate head coach, our special teams coordinator, and coaches our corners. David's another guy that was with me at Lenoir-Rhyne, so he came down with me when I got the job. Outstanding leader of young men. Jimmy Long coaches our defensive line, another guy that came with me from Lenoir-Rhyne. If you watch our defensive front play, they get after you pretty good. They're not letting people run the ball on them. Mike Adams coaches our safeties. He was actually at Mercer when I got the job, and I was able to retain him. He's a guy I've known for a long time. He does a great job with those guys. And then a guy named Sumner Ellis, who I'd coached with before, coaches our boundary linebacker, our defensive end over there, and is also our recruiting coordinator. So our defensive staff does an outstanding job with those kids. Offensively, Bob Bodine's my offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, who was also with me at Lenoir-Rhyne. He's been all over the place. He's been at Army, he's been at Citadel, he's been at Georgia Southern. Outstanding offensive line coach. Fred Jones coaches our running backs, who was with me at Reinhardt. I was able to hire him a year and a half ago to join us. He does a great job with those backs. LaDante Harris coaches our receivers. He was at Mercer when I got the job, so that was another guy that I elected to retain. I'm really glad I did. He does a good job with those kids. He's got 2 All-Americans in that room. If y'all seen us play those kids, number 1, number 13, pretty special. Kevin O'Brien coaches our tight ends, and he does a great job with those kids. We hired him from Tennessee. He had actually played for Coach Mike Bobo at Colorado State. Young guy who's really got a bright future, and then a guy named David Salmon who coaches our quarterbacks. Played quarterback at Mars Hill, was an assistant when I first got here as a volunteer, and I hired him back. He did such a great job. So that's our staff. My head strength coach, Evan Barr, if you saw him walk in here, you'd know he was a strength coach. He's about 380 pounds, a straight dude, and he ripped my head off in about 2 seconds. So I try not to make him mad, but they do a great job. We have got to be a developmental program at Mercer. You've got a high academic school. We're going to spend most of our time recruiting high school kids. We're going to take a few transfers here and there, but we're going to build our program on Georgia high school talent. And we got to develop those guys, and those guys all do an outstanding job leading young men, building them up as football players, building them in the weight room, watching after them academically. So that's kind of our staff. I wanted to make sure I acknowledge those guys. I promise you this, you know, when it goes well, it's because of them. I promise you. They do an outstanding job. Let me talk about some of our players, okay? And this is another thing that is really important to me. Y'all heard of the transfer portal, okay? And it's a crazy, wild, really popular thing to do right now. Out of our top 44 players last year, we had, there was 2 kids that went in the portal. One was a punter. So y'all know them guys are squirrely anyway, right? Okay, they lose their mind sometimes. Apologize to any specialists in here, okay? Anybody that kicked in high school or punted. And then we had our 3rd tailback, chose to go somewhere because he wanted a few more touches. He's down at Fort Valley now, so great kid. But other than that, we didn't lose a single kid. That is very unusual in today's college world, okay? We just played an Ole Miss team that had, I want to say the number was 45 of them. So we're getting kids in our program, we're developing kids in our program. Our kids want to be there, they want to be a part of what we're doing. That just means so much to me. That coaches stay, players stay. It's about people, okay? So I think we got a great culture going. Let's talk about some of those kids, okay? Talk about some of our preseason all-conference guys. If y'all seen us play, you've seen Ty James, number 13, wide receiver. He's pretty dang good. He had 1,100 yards receiving last year, okay? So the other night, he just broke the all-time receiving record in Mercer history, and I think it was, 2,466 career yards. So outstanding football player. Deron Harper is a preseason all-conference guy. He's number 1 if you've seen us play. He is dynamic. He had a 53-yard punt return for a touchdown the other night. 337 all-purpose yards in the game. Led the conference last year in all-purpose yards. Had almost 1,000 yards receiving. So those 2 kids are really special players. Ty is from GAC High School. You're going to hear a lot of Georgia kids, okay? GAC High School, and Dev is from Heritage High School in Conyers. All right? John Thomas, an offensive lineman, who's really our anchor, our left tackle, is a Hillgrove High kid up in Cobb County. Israel McWeeza, another offensive lineman, was preseason all-conference. He's an Archer High School kid up in Gwinnett County. On defense, preseason all-conference guy, Solomon Zaberu, okay, defensive end from Archer High School in Gwinnett County. Really good player. He was our defense player of the week from the last game. Isaac Dowling, a linebacker from Shiloh High School, Gwinnett County. That's a lot of Gwinnett County kids, isn't it? Savio Frazier's a defensive tackle. He went to Dutchtown High School, just right up the road in Henry County. Ken Stanley is a Ware County product, a linebacker who was preseason all-conference. And a guy named Richie Coffey, that's my first, he's from Jacksonville, Florida. So that's Georgia. That might as well be Georgia, right? Okay. He plays nickel for us. All right, Lance Wise, okay, is a safety from Hillgrove High School in Cobb County. He's a preseason All-American. And then Miles Redding is a safety that went to Whitfield Academy up in Cobb County. So that's another Cobb County product. So you're hearing a lot of Georgia kids right there, okay? Devon Harper was Special Teams Player of the Week this past week in the league. Like I told you, he had the 53-yard punt return. He's on the Senior Bowl watch list. So is Ty James, the receiver. Some outstanding kids. And let me talk about the local kids. I want everybody to, we're getting local kids in here too. Travion Solomon's a kid from Northeast. Played for the great Coach Wiggins over there. Man, I got to tell you, Coach Wiggins, man, I coached at Furman when he was playing at App State. That dude was good. He was playing safety back there on 3 national championship teams. He was a dang ball player. If in fact, I may put him in a uniform next weekend, and I'll get him oxygen after one series. Okay? Coach, you ready to go? I hear you, man. Then I got Scooter Risper, which is great because my old friend down here, that's his son, the legendary Coach Spoon Risper over at Westside. He and I played against each other in high school. You're going to hear that. I mean, the coaching fraternity is a pretty neat deal. And like I said, we had a shootout there when he was playing at Upson County and Upson Lee. And I think I got him one time and he got me one time. And great friendship there. I appreciate him, and I appreciate him trusting me to have his son in my program. He's doing a great job for us. Braden Smith is a local kid there from Tattnall Square, played for Coach Abernathy there. So I know we had some Tattnall Square people here tonight, and he is going to be a good one, okay? He is a fast little dude. Nate Howard's a kid that starts at tackle for us. He's from Mayor Persons High School up there with Coach Nelson, just right up the road there in Forsyth. A young man named Jose Gonzalez plays some guard for us. He played at Warner Robins High School in those state championships down there with Coach Westbrook. And then another kid named Tucker Mix, who played for Coach Chastain at Jones County. Coach Chastain and I go way back. I was a GA. My first job was a GA at West Georgia, where Coach Spoon played at as well, and he was a student assistant. So you get these relationships, people that have been in the business. I appreciate what y'all do. I appreciate these high school coaches. Coach, appreciate all y'all do. I mean, I grew up the son of a high school coach. Okay, my dad coached high school football in Georgia for 35 years. That's all I've ever known. And the work you do, Coach Hasher, coached my son at Mountain Sales. I appreciate how you treated him. It's hard on him, but loved him. Those things mean a lot, what these high school coaches do, because it's a lot. You're teaching classes, you're chasing kids, you're all over the place, and then they expect you to go out there and score 100 points and shut them out. You know, so I appreciate you guys and all you do, and you know you're always welcome at our place, okay? So I wanted to mention those local kids who are doing a great job for us. Like I said, it's about people. Philosophy-wise, and I've probably covered this before, but I think it's worth repeating, is who we are. What is my job? What do I believe my job is? How am I measuring success as a college coach? Well, first of all, we got to graduate our players. We're at a great academic school at Mercer University, okay? They got to be able to, they got to have good grades to get in, good test scores, and then they got to challenge their curriculum. They're not just athletes at our place. Man, we got to put them in study hall. We got to watch after them with tutors. And we got, just so you know, we got, I think it was a 3.05 team GPA in the spring at a school like Mercer, okay? So I'm really proud of our young men. We've pretty much had a 3.0 GPA for the most part. And y'all understand in football, especially at a place like Mercer, okay, those kids are doing an outstanding job. So we need to graduate everybody that stays with us, graduate every kid, okay? We need to make sure every student athlete has a great experience. Now, how do I define that? Okay, first of all, there's accountability. You need to be where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to be doing. Me making sure you do that is going to give you a great experience. You understand exactly what the expectation is going to give you a great experience, okay? So we're going to hold everybody accountable, from the 4th-string kicker to the 1st-string quarterback. Everybody's going to be held to the same standard, okay? I think when you do that, everybody knows where they stand, and the good kids feel comfortable. They know everybody's being held accountable, okay? And second of all, everybody's going to get coached. It's our job to coach the dog out of these kids. Just like y'all at your height, you coach the dog out of every one of them, because they deserve that. They deserve for you to love them enough to coach the daggum dog out of them, okay? We're going to love our kids. I got 3 sons at home. I will whip their hind end, but they know I love them, and we have a high expectation, but they know I'm going to be there for them. They know I care about them, but we're going to do right, okay? So loving kids is holding them accountable, coaching them up, knowing what's going on with them and their families, you know, and letting them know you believe in them, okay? That's really critical. I know when somebody believes in me, man, I can do it when somebody believes in me. Doesn't matter, okay? And when you got young men that you're working with, getting them guys to believe in themselves, especially in today's world where they got so many voices in their head and so many distractions, just getting them to believe in themselves, not being afraid of failure, that's a hard job, and I appreciate you coaches for loving those kids, okay? We want to represent Mercer University with passion in class. So what does that mean? We want to do it the right way. We want to be the good guys on campus, okay? When we go around campus, I want us to be serving folks and picking up trash and interacting with other students, knowing who's in the band, knowing who's in these other activities, and creating fans, okay? That's how you represent the university, is by intermingling with everybody, building relationships, and doing the right thing. Your name shouldn't come up in judicial over there because you did something without integrity in the classroom. It shouldn't come up, you know, with campus police. Those are the things that we need to do right and treat people good. So we need to represent the university. And then when we play, we need to play our tails off. That's representing the university. That's what the university deserves. All right? And then we need to build winners. Now, what is a winner? Okay, and y'all, these high school coaches know what I'm talking about, okay? It's a kid that's the very best he can be in every area, okay? Doesn't matter what it is. Classroom, weight room, practice field, game field, relationships, out serving the community, okay? That's what a winner is. I want a kid to not be afraid of failure and to do his best all the time. That's what winners do. So we want to build winners in every area. And lastly, we want to serve, okay? And we do a lot of things in our program to try to serve. In the spring, our team, we go and watch at least one sporting event from every other team that plays in the spring, whether it's women's and men's basketball, beach volleyball, which is very popular with our guys, tennis, okay? It's crazy to see 70 football players at a tennis match. Our tennis coach is a pretty cool guy, you know. We were over there, you know, they're loud and everything. I guess a tennis match is supposed to be, you know, like this. And I think we got like warned or something by the official, and the tennis coach, y'all see this, he's got long hair. I mean, he's a different cat. He's a great guy. He came over, he's like, you guys need to be quiet. We were like, 10-4, we got you. Just kept raising all kinds of, you know what, out there. So it's pretty, you know, going to softball games, going to baseball games. So being a part of the university and going and serving by supporting the other teams. I think a lot of times, and you guys remember this now, you football guys, you don't need to be the one walking around campus with your chest poked out. You don't need to be the one that's better than everybody else. You need to be a part of what's going on and serve other people. If you do that, you're going to get blessed. You're going to build fans. People are going to look up to you, and all of a sudden you'll look up and every one of them will be at your game. Okay, so just make sure you're being good to folks. So we want to get out and serve the community. We had campus cleanup day. We had our guys serve in the cafeteria. I mean, it's pretty cool to see a bunch of football players standing behind the, you know, with their big spoon and a hairnet on, and, you know, just serving the other students, okay? Just finding ways to serve other folks and make it not be about you, make it be about them. You just create fans and you get blessed. So that's what my responsibility as the head football coach at Mercer is, to teach those things, to provide those things, to hold people accountable. And I think when you do that, the scoreboard ends up showing up your way a whole bunch, okay? You gotta go out and play good, but if you have attention to detail and you have the right attitude, which is what these things create, you're probably gonna play pretty good football. We talk about these three things, our three pillars of our program: love, compete, believe. Y'all probably heard me say that. If you've been in our building, you've seen those things on the wall. You've seen the scriptures that go with them. You know, John 15:13 says, greater love is no man than this, that he laid down his life for his friends. That's an action, okay? Love is a choice, love is an action. It is not a feeling. So you choose to love people, you choose to pour into people, you choose to serve people. And when you invest in people, man, it's sure hard to give up on them. It's sure hard to not believe in them, okay? So we're gonna love each other, and I need coaches on my staff that love kids, okay? That's really important. The second one is compete, okay? 1 Corinthians 9:24 says, in a race all the runners run, but only one wins the prize. Run in such a way that you may win. And the most important part of that verse is, in such a way. You ain't gonna win every time, and you dang sure better do everything you can with integrity to win. Don't be afraid of failure, okay? So we want our guys to compete. I got a problem. My wife will probably come up here and tell you I'm crazy. Like if my 11-year-old wants to play checkers, I'm gonna beat his eyes in. That's just, you know, he better bring his A game, okay? Because I'm taking all his pieces. But when he beats me, he's gonna know he beat me. Okay, if I play pickup basketball with my 17-year-old, let's get to the point where he's, you know, he's reaching that age where I can't just push him around like I used to. But I'll still put him in the wall, okay? And he better, if he's going to beat me, he's going to beat my best, okay? So getting our boys to compete all the time, because people that know how to compete don't run from problems as adults. They solve problems, okay? They stay there, and when it goes hard at home, they figure it out. When the light bill comes up, they figure out how to get paid, okay? They solve problems, they stand up for what's right, okay, when they know how to compete, okay? So I want kids that go towards that, not away from that, not back down from that. Because if we're going to win a championship, we got to beat somebody good when it really matters, okay? And the last thing is believe. And Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future." So I do think this, the Lord wants to bless us. He wants to bless us so bad, but he's not going to do it until we're ready. He's not going to do it until we understand what to do with the blessing. So we just got to work hard, do right, treat people good, and at some point the blessing is going to show up. Okay, we got to keep hanging on to that. Keep doing the right things. Keep being good to folks. Working your tail off. Okay, and the blessing's coming. So love, compete, believe. That's kind of our deal. Okay. We cover one more thing that we kind of made some of our themes for this fall. Every year we try to have another theme or two, and we I watch our team in the off season and kind of let's get a flavor of what we want this team to be about. So our theme, 2 things for this fall for the 23 team, and hopefully if you come see us play, you'll see these things in action. First of all is I get to, okay? Not I have to, but I get to. What's the difference? I get to is a mental approach that says I'm blessed, okay? I'm excited to be here, even though some things may be challenging, I get to do it. Even though this may be difficult, look what I'm getting to do compared to maybe what some other situations people are in. I'm healthy, I get to play college football, I get to get a great degree, I got somebody training me and push me, I get to eat in a dining hall and somebody cleans up after me. Okay, and I get to look at some pretty girls on campus. Sign me up, okay? That's a pretty good deal, okay? So we get to do these things. College football, while challenging, I get tired of people saying it's hard and difficult, okay? It's really not in comparison to a lot of things a lot of people are dealing with. I get to do it. I get to play ball, okay? So I want us to always think about things that way. And the other thing is, you heard me say this before, is no fear of failure. I think this is one of the things that paralyzes young people now, is everybody's so worried about what somebody's going to say about it, okay? And these cell phones are going to kill us all right? Get off the daggone social media. Stop worrying about who's liking your stuff, okay? And worry about the people who are invested in you. That's what matters. That's who you need. I worry about what my dad thinks about me because he poured into me and I know he loves me, so his opinion matters, okay? Am I making him proud, okay? Stop worrying about all this other stuff. People who are worried about what everybody thinks of them are paralyzed when it comes to those moments where people need you to step up. They're afraid of failure. So what happens to them psychologically? They don't give their best because they want an out. You need to be willing to give your best, and then if you fail, go try again, okay? Because success only happens after you fail several times. If we can get our young people to understand that and give their best all the time, they're going to eventually be successful. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of what everybody's thinking about you. Do your best and get better, okay? That's our 2 things. I get to and no fear of failure, okay? So that's what we want to be, and I'm really excited about where we are. So where are we headed? Well, I think we've built a program that has a great foundation now. We have great kids, and it's really about breaking through in a lot of ways. Like I said, the last 2 years we've been right on the verge of a playoff berth. Probably should have got in, okay, but you need to win one more game to make sure you get in. So that's what we've got to do, is break through and win 8, 9, 10 games and make sure they put us in there, okay? And that's where we are as a program. So we want to consistently compete for SoCon championships and playoff bids, set the standard in the league, and we want to be the pride of Mercer and the pride of Macon, something everybody can be proud of, okay? So please come watch us play. You'll enjoy this team. If you haven't seen us play, come out to 5 Star. It's a great atmosphere, all the stuff they do on a Saturday. Raise your hand if you've been to a game on a Saturday. Okay, you got the concerts on Blackfield, you got stuff for family, all kinds of stuff going on. It's a lot of fun to be in 5 Star Stadium on a Saturday. So I appreciate you guys. It's great talking to you. Ask me some questions. Love to take any questions you might have. I'll try to answer them as honestly as I can. I try not to bring that up.
Games out of hand, maybe in the first quarter. I mean, it's interesting to keep motivated.
That's a great question. We go into, you want to be realistic in those situations, but at the same time, you're trying to go win the game. You never know if you just go play what will happen. We did not play well, and certainly that's magnified by what we were playing against, especially them on offense. They may have one of the best offenses in the country at any level of college football. So the main thing you want to do is find ways to improve, and when you can get the film and watch it after that game, when we do things right, we gave ourselves a chance to be successful against anybody, okay? When you don't do it right, and when you play great players, it gets magnified. And what I'm trying to sell to them is, while you may not play a team that has 11 guys like that on the field at the same time in our league, there's some players like that. So you might be playing 2 or 3 of them at a time, and you got to hold up, you got to do it right. So a lot of times when you play somebody that you're a lot better than, you could go out there and not do things at a high level, not do things fundamentally sound, and then you still win the game. Well, we got to learn something, we got to go out there and play at the very best level we can play at, do the little things right, be fundamentally sound, do what you're coached to do. And I think that's what that provides. We played, in the last 3 years, we played Alabama, we played Auburn, and we played Ole Miss, and those games have made us better, especially if we can look at it that way. But you're right, it's tough when it was rough that day. The kids played hard the whole game. They didn't play good the whole game, but I appreciate them that they played hard. And it's a great opportunity to be able to go play in front of that size crowd and be able to show that you got a chance to belong out there. So, and some of our guys did, but it's tough sometimes, and I'm not sure how many more years that'll go on with the way college football landscape is changing. You're getting all these super conferences, and it's all about some weird, when you got teams from the West Coast coming to the ACC and all, I don't know how some of those things are going to end up being in the future. I don't know how many more of those games we'll get to play. Who we playing next year? Alabama? So we got a couple games in the future, but it may change. A lot of landscape of college football, as far as those things go, may change a good bit. Yes, sir.
Coach, you mentioned 3 targeting penalties. That means those 3 guys have to set out the first half of the next game.
Depends on which half. So we had one young man get a targeting penalty in the first half of the game, so he just had to set out the rest of that game, so he can play in the next game. If you had him in the second half, you'll have to set out the first half of the next game. Now we're going to learn from that, because there's a couple games. The 2 kids that are not going to be able to play the first half are real young, but still you need all your guys, but we got to learn to we got to understand the rules. We got to understand what a defenseless player is. Can't hit him in the head, neck area with any part of your body when he's a defenseless player, and you certainly can't strike with the top of your helmet. We got to, we're being aggressive, but we got to be smart. And that hurt us. It hurt us the other night.
Leading up to your first game, was it a distraction for either the players or the coaches when you found out you were going to be on ESPN?
I don't think so. I think that's an exciting thing for the guys. And our games are always streamed on ESPN, but obviously that was the shore enough ESPN. So I'm gonna be honest with you, it was so hot out there. They probably forgot it was on ESPN after about 5 minutes. Who was at the game? Anybody? Coach. Yeah. It was hot. So, but I think anytime you get your brand out there on national TV, it's exciting for the kids, but I think it really helps the university, and it creates a lot of just your recruiting and people just recognizing you. It certainly is a positive thing. Yes, sir.
Any of your players recipients of NIL benefits?
Nothing major. Okay, there's a few local things where kids are getting just a little something here and there. We'll see how that trickles down. I don't know if all this stuff is sustainable, honestly. We've created a system that doesn't make sense to me. NIL, somebody giving you money for your name, image, and likeness means you need to be a good player. And so when I look at NFL, well, who gets the endorsements? The good players. Who signs contracts? You better be a dang dude. And right now we're using NIL at the highest level of college football to attract high school kids. If I'm starting left tackle somewhere and they sign some kid who comes in and I find out he's making more money than I am, and he better pan out. And that to me creates division in your locker room. To me, there needs to be some kind of system in place where it's incentive based. And to me, why would you? Kids need to play a year of college football. I'm all for them. If they're out there getting it done, and they've earned it, give them the money. We tell all our guys, we want you to get it. At the same time, when you start using it to attract high school players, what message are we sending and how is that going to create problems in the locker room, and is it sustainable? Because if I'm giving somebody money and I'm a businessman doing that, they better pan out. Okay, you got to earn what you get. Okay, so I'm sorry for the high school guys for saying that in front of you, but I mean, that's just the way it is, man. If you're going to be good, go be good. Now, that kid that's playing quarterback in Colorado, somebody needs to give him some name, image, and likeness. That joker's balling. And I think they have. Okay, you know what I mean? I mean, that's who, if you're out there getting it done, you're a great kid, that's who you want to represent you. Right now, we're using it to sign people, okay, at the highest level. That's a slippery slope. Told you I'd tell you what I thought. Yeah, there's a thing called cost of attendance, and there's some different things that provides a little bit. But listen, don't get me wrong now. If you can get paid, okay, for playing great, I'm all for that. I just think we got to be careful about these collectives that they're using that to endorse someone who hasn't done it yet. That's where. But like I said, if we get a kid, if somebody wants to come in and give one of our guys something because they're out there and they're going, man, that guy's a great player, people recognize him. Let's have this kid, you know, represent us, shoot, go for it. I just think we got to be careful about when they haven't played college football. I just think it's tough. Great question. I knew there'd be name, image, and likeness. Yes, sir. I'm telling them to get out of the way because I want y'all to be able to move the chains. If we're going with tempo, I want to be able to snap the ball. Yep. That's the first time I've ever been thanked for that. I appreciate that. Yep. That was awesome. Any other questions? It's great to have folks on campus. We have a beautiful facility. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. All right, thank you all very much.